Hello, smart garden community. Welcome back to another episode where we dive deep into gardening techniques that actually work. Today we're exploring something extraordinary that most gardeners toss in the trash without a second thought: crushed nutshells. Whether you're dealing with waterlogged containers or clay-heavy garden beds, this overlooked amendment might be exactly what your soil is crying out for. The composting conundrum. Why nutshells? Traditional composting demands patience, space, and precisely balanced materials. You need the right carbon-to-nitrogen ratio, regular turning, adequate moisture, and anywhere from 3 months to a year before you see results. For many gardeners, especially those working with limited space or time, composting becomes another chore rather than a solution. Nutshells offer an entirely different approach to soil improvement that sidesteps these traditional hurdles. Instead of waiting for decomposition to create benefits, nutshells work mechanically and immediately. The moment you incorporate them into your soil, they begin improving structure, drainage, and aeration. Think of them as tiny, natural soil architects that create the physical framework your plants need to thrive, all while slowly releasing trace minerals over the years ahead. Nutshell science: the hidden benefits for your soil. The magic of nutshells lies in their remarkable structural integrity. Unlike organic materials that rapidly break down and compact, nutshells maintain their shape for years, creating persistent air pockets throughout your soil profile. These air channels serve as highways for oxygen to reach plant roots while simultaneously providing escape routes for excess water. When rain or irrigation saturates your garden, water doesn't pool or suffocate roots, it percolates through these shell-created passages and drains away efficiently. The science becomes even more compelling when you examine the mineral content. Nutshells contain calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium in trace amounts. As they very slowly decompose over several years, these minerals gradually become available to plants, providing a sustained-release fertilization effect that's impossible to achieve with quick-release synthetic amendments. Perhaps most surprising is their pest deterrent quality. The sharp, jagged edges of crushed nutshells create an uncomfortable surface for soft-bodied pests like slugs and snails. While this isn't a complete barrier, it adds another layer of protection to your garden defense strategy. Additionally, the slow decomposition rate means nutshells don't attract the same decomposer organisms that rapidly decaying organic matter does, keeping certain soil-dwelling pests at bay. So, let's take a closer look at the three giants: walnut, pecan, and peanut shells. Not all nutshells perform identically in garden applications, and, well, understanding these differences really helps you choose the right amendment for your specific soil challenges. Walnut shells, in particular, represent the heavyweight champion of soil aeration. Their exceptionally hard, wood-like composition means they can persist in soil for up to 3 years without significant breakdown. When you crush walnut shells and incorporate them into clay-heavy soil, they create large, durable air pockets that resist compression, even under the weight of saturated soil. This makes them absolutely phenomenal for the bottom layer of containers where drainage is critical, or for permanently amending compacted garden beds. However, there's an important caveat: black walnut shells contain juglone, a natural compound that inhibits growth in tomatoes, peppers, azaleas, and certain other sensitive plants. If you're using black walnut shells specifically, composting them thoroughly first helps break down this compound, or you can reserve them for areas growing juglone-tolerant species. Pecan shells share walnuts' durability and hardness, offering nearly identical benefits for long-term soil structure improvement. They create lasting porosity that prevents soil from recompacting after initial amendment, and their fibrous nature facilitates excellent water percolation. The key advantage of pecan shells is that they lack the juglone concern, making them universally safe for all garden plants. If you have access to pecan shells, they're essentially walnut shells without the precautions. Peanut shells occupy an entirely different niche in the nutshell world. These lightweight, softer shells break down in months rather than years, which fundamentally changes how they function in soil. While they still improve aeration and drainage, their relatively rapid decomposition means they work more as a temporary soil conditioner than a permanent structural amendment. The fascinating advantage of peanut shells is their dual nature. They create air pockets while simultaneously retaining some moisture as they begin breaking down. This makes them particularly valuable in dry climates or for moisture-sensitive plants that need consistent hydration without waterlogging. As they decompose, peanut shells contribute organic matter and release their nutrient content more quickly than their hard-shell cousins, essentially functioning as both an aerator and a slow-release fertilizer. Preparing nutshells for garden use starts with ensuring they're salt-free, as excessive sodium damages plants and beneficial soil microbes. If you've saved salted shells, thoroughly rinse them and spread them out to dry completely before crushing. The crushing process determines both the longevity and effectiveness of your amendment. For maximum drainage in container bottoms, leave shells in larger, coarse pieces about 1/2 inch to 1 inch in size. For incorporating into garden beds, crush them into 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch fragments using a hammer, rolling pin, or even a sturdy bag in your foot. For specialized applications like nutshell tea or faster integration, a food processor or coffee grinder pulverizes them into smaller particles, though this reduces their drainage benefits and shortens their lifespan. Direct incorporation works beautifully for garden beds suffering from poor drainage or compaction. Loosen your soil to a depth of 6 to 12 inches using a garden fork, then spread your crushed shells across the surface at a rate of approximately 1 to 2 inches of shell material for every 6 inches of soil depth. Mix them thoroughly throughout the loosened soil, ensuring even distribution rather than concentrated pockets. Water the area well after incorporation to help everything settle and begin the slow integration process. For container applications, create a 1 to 2 inch drainage layer of shells at the pot bottom before adding your growing medium, effectively preventing drainage holes from clogging while creating a reservoir for excess water to escape. Long-term mulching with nutshells offers multiple benefits beyond simple soil improvement. A 2 to 3 inch layer of coarsely crushed shells around established plants suppresses weeds by blocking light while allowing water and air to penetrate. Unlike wood mulch, nutshell mulch doesn't tie up nitrogen as it decomposes, and its slow breakdown rate means you won't need to replenish it constantly. The shells gradually work their way into the soil surface over time, continually improving the top layer where most feeder roots concentrate. Hugelculture practitioners have discovered that nutshells make exceptional additions to these mounded layered beds. Incorporated into the lower layers of a hugelculture mound, hard nutshells create permanent air channels and drainage pathways while slowly releasing minerals for years. Their resistance to compression under the weight of soil and organic matter above makes them ideal structural elements that maintain bed porosity, even as softer materials decompose. For liquid nutrient delivery, create nutshell tea by soaking crushed shells in water for several weeks, creating a mineral-rich solution you can use as a supplemental fertilizer. While this won't replace complete fertilization, it provides a gentle boost of calcium and trace elements particularly beneficial for plants like tomatoes that require consistent calcium to prevent blossom end rot. The long-term transformation nutshells create in your soil extends far beyond immediate drainage improvements. Over months and years, plant roots explore the air-filled spaces around shells, developing stronger, more extensive root systems that anchor plants and improve nutrient uptake. The enhanced oxygen availability throughout the root zone supports beneficial soil microorganisms, creating a thriving soil ecosystem that sustains plant health naturally. This improved soil structure increases plant resilience to both drought and heavy rain. Water drains away efficiently during downpours, while the overall improved soil texture retains appropriate moisture during dry periods. Now it's your turn to experiment with this overlooked soil amendment. Start with one type of nutshell and one application method, observe the results, and expand from there. Every garden presents unique challenges, and your discoveries might reveal applications we haven't even considered. Subscribe to Smart Garden so you never miss these practical, evidence-based gardening techniques, and share this video with fellow gardeners who could benefit from better soil drainage. Drop a comment below, sharing which nutshells you're planning to try and what soil challenges you're hoping to solve. Let's build a community of gardeners who think beyond traditional compost and create thriving gardens with overlooked resources. Happy gardening.